Hey, welcome to lesson 3. If you remember, in the previous one we were modeling this part. That will be the mold for the holes where the pendulum will go through. So the last thing we did was adjusting the cube and the cone within it, okay? What we are going to do now is clone. Cloning this element is way easier and quicker than making it manually, especially more precise. To clone this object, select the cube and insert it in a cloner. To do so, go to MoGraph in the top menu and select the option Cloner. As the cube was selected before, if we press Alt while creating the cloner, the cube will be automatically inserted in the cloner. Okay, something like that. Let's go now to Mode and select the mode Radial. Perfect. After that, what we are going to do is orientate the plane. In the panel on the right, select a ZY plane. Now the object is well oriented, right? Select the object and move it down. And place it. Okay, well, select the view. Perfect. Well, perfect. And move it down and place it in the center of the disk, more or less. Then, with the parameters on the right, we can tweak the properties. So with radius, we can modify the distance between the elements, and with count, we set the number of elements. See? So set count to 4 and radius to 270, approximately, in order for the cone to fit in the hole. Guys, these values are simply for guidance, since it depends on the dimensions of your elements. Remember that what we are doing now is the mold for the holes where the pendulum will go through. So the shape should be similar. Go back to the perspective view. Next, we are going to work with booleans. Booleans enable us to pierce the disk. So select the cloner from the list and make it editable, like that. The objects are shown separately now. Select all of them and right-click. Then select Connect Objects plus Delete. This way we'll connect all the elements. Within the list, we have the cone, the elements within the cloner and the disk. At this point, we could add more segments to the disk to increase its definition. Set it to 100, for example. I'm doing this now, but you can do it at any other time, even when the object isn't editable. Move the disk 1 and place it up in the list. Then add a bool object, this one. For those who don't know, Cinema 4D enables us to create bool objects. This means that we can use these objects to cut other objects. In this case, we can combine two elements by generating a hole or empty space in one of them. For example, I have these two cubes, right? And I want the smaller cube to create an empty space or hole in the bigger one. This empty space will have the same shape that the smaller cube, so insert these two elements inside a bool. Bear in mind that the first elements would be the main one, so put the main one. I'm going to put here the bigger cube, which is the one which I'll insert a hole in, so to speak. The smaller cube would be hidden, but generates the empty space. Obviously, this could be applied to different things. In the introductory course to Cinema 4D, we had a look at this function. Select these two elements and insert them in a bool. If this happens to you, make sure the disk is above the object in order to create these holes with the same shape that the object. Okay, see, the hole is similar but bigger. If we bring the disk to second place in the hierarchy, the effect we get is the other way around. Select the bool. In the panel on the right, you'll see different parameters. We can even hide the new edges by checking this box. Select again bool from the list and right-click, then select Current State to Object. This function lets us convert the bool object to a regular object. Delete these elements, so we have now the entire object but with different parts, the disk and the cloner. Select the two objects, right-click, and press Connect Elements plus Delete. This way we'll have a single element, the disk. Cool. What we are going to do now is a plane, in which the disk will be inserted and will cover the inferior part of the disk. So insert a plane and scale it up considerably. Make it wider as well. Like that. Well, guys, the polygons in the middle should be more or less of the same size that the disk's width. You should get something like this, okay? Make it editable. Now use the selection mode to select the polygons making up the surface on which the disk is. Those polygons. After selecting them, delete these polygons to generate a hole for enabling the disk's rotation. Once selected, press Delete. Go to the Select menu and undock this panel. Select the option Loop Selection and press Select Boundary Loop. This way, it will be easier to select the edges of this polygon. Okay, let's extrude the selection downwards, okay? Select the Move tool and while holding Ctrl, drag the object downward, like that. Here, more or less, okay? Let's do the same in this part. Click on Loop Selection, select the center area, click on the Move tool and drag it downward while holding Ctrl. Move it down until generating a hole. Now we're going to select the external polygons with Loop Selection. Make sure to uncheck the Select Boundary Loop box so that you can select them. Then right-click and bevel. That's it. Simply follow the same steps. Check the parameters in the panel on the right to get the bevel. In this case, set offset to 8 and subdivision to 6 to get this bevel. Now go to the center and click on Loop Selection. Again, uncheck this box. Right-click and press Bevel. Use the same values, 8 and 6. 8 and 6, okay. Perfect. The next modeling step is inserting a cube some cubes to create the background. So insert a cube, place it here, and scale it up a lot. Okay, we need it to be quite big. Okay, like that. Make it wider as well. Remember, guys, quite big. It will be the background, so it needs to cover a lot of space. It's up to you how you want to place it, okay? You can do different things on different objects, but something like this, okay? And it's quite simple. Before making it editable, go to the Object tab on the right panel and check the fillet box to add a bevel. We can modify these parameters to generate a bevel. Set the fillet radius to 40 and insert 10 fillet subdivisions. Select the big cube and duplicate it while holding Ctrl. Then place it here, more or less, kind of, okay? Okay. And lastly, let's duplicate the first cube. Generate a copy for the right and another for the left side. You should get a scene similar to this. These holes on the duplicates will be used for other examples, okay? So this will be the main composition after generating the elements. Save the scene, don't forget that, okay? Okay, so we've finished with the modeling process. In the next lesson, we'll be working with Espresso. Are you ready? So see you there.